And we are live. This is a continuation of the previous scene that had to stop due to technical difficulty known as childish homework. We will pick the scene back up where we left off with the neonates and their gargoyle friend down in the basement with the cargo container where the recently captured mass embraced shovelheads, that were almost shovelheads at least, are currently torpored and unable to move, and the neonates have been tasked with getting samples of their blood, getting them up to the lab, and they have been discussing a few things, such as whether or not it's okay to cut off someone's arm when they can still feel it or not. But we will start with our young ones, Alyssa and Annalise, getting ready to draw up blood. So take it away, kids.
So yes. So yeah, they work together to get blood samples and label them accordingly. And then Alyssa will look at Annalise and she'll say, "We should probably label them too."
Probably not a bad idea. Hey, Doug, you have Sharpie. I need Sharpie. Or tattoo gun also works, but Sharpie preferable.
Or toe tags, those will work too.
Looks like I got a Crayola watercolor marker.
Watercolor marker will work. Yes.
There we go. Smells like orange.
Fantastic.
My least favorite scent. We have paper and for toe tags.
I've got a little college rule notebook here.
Close enough.
And don't have any string, but I do have dental floss for some reason.
Dental floss, paper, and a watercolor marker. That'll work. We can make toe tags. So these two will make toe tags and number them.
Annalise draws hers in bubble letters.
While you girls are taking blood, I'm gonna do their pockets, and we'll put all their belongings, like jewels and everything like that, in front of them on the floor. We never know if they have magic items or anything. Or wallets, do you know they are real names?
Rifling through each of their pockets, you can find 2 of them still have their wallets, and 1 more still has a cell phone.
I'm going to turn the cell phone off, just in case there's a tracker or anything like that. And I'm going to look in the wallets for any IDs. They might be victims as well. Shovelheads are not necessarily willing participants.
Annalise looks up. You know, considering this one is Misi, would it be a good idea to perhaps take pictures of them as they are now? Or is it pointless?
Well, somebody can take pictures while I do their pockets and you take the blood.
Well, we seem to have already collected blood samples. Actually, we have blood samples of all of the little guys here. What about the Zamisi? Dr. Gonzalez, did you get blood sample from him?
Yes, I did.
Excellent.
Wanted to make sure that we got blood from all of them.
Then we have nothing more to worry about. At least on that front.
And Alyssa will find some sort of. I'm sure that there is a tray for the vials that she can put them in. So that's what she will do. And make sure that the toe tags that they made are on all of the specimens.
So, what is there to do at this point? Do we wake them up and interrogate, or is it probably a better idea for...
We should get them up to the lab because that's what we were told to do.
Honey,
So
I agree.
that way we can be supervised and told what to do next.
Considering I have not been here for very long, it is probably not a great idea for me to do much else. I will follow your instructions from here.
She will smile at that, and yeah, we'll say, I think that we've done all we can do right now. Let's go ahead and get them all up to the lab. To everybody.
Annalise looks at Doug. Is it okay if I push cart?
Doug seems to consider this for a very long time, probably longer than anybody would ever expect that he should.
That is my favorite phrase that has been uttered this whole time. Can I push cart?
I suppose you can push the cart if that's what you want to do.
I just thought it would make it easier for you to carry these.
Oh, poor Doug.
Certainly, I'll just go ahead and pick these fellas up and not push the cart that I brought here. I'll walk over and pick up two people over each shoulder.
Looks like we just have one more. If anyone else is strong enough to carry person, I do not believe I am.
I don't believe either.
This at least has wheels pre-installed. Oh, how much approximately does this cart weigh currently?
It's heavy, but you can push it.
Okay, because I have a strength rating of 1. She's a twig.
I'd say it's strength 1. You probably can't push it all that well, though. Definitely gonna lag behind.
Okay, I'm gonna join the club of the ones and help pushing.
Spasiba.
You can see that the two of you are not certified to push the cart. That's why I brought it down here in the first place.
There's sufficient space, do you suppose, on that cart for a couple of bodies? Do we have to risk damaging anything? You packed it, not me.
Well, I wanted to be prepared. And he'll look back at the two women trying to push the cart. By the way, guys, you know that we do have a gym. In case you all wanted to maybe, get good.
There are easier ways to be stronger.
Burned by a gargoyle. Love it.
In case you have not noticed, I am 5 feet. I am small, not tall. You can be strong like a Russian bear, but I am...
And the honey badger is one of the smallest rodents that lives on the continent of Africa, yet it takes on lions. It's not about the size of the honey badger in the fight, but the size of the fight in the honey badger.
Annalise acquiesces. All right. If you believe pushing people on the cart would be a better idea, it would probably be more efficient. You would also get your cart back.
Go ahead and just pile them on up there. Yep. Old Doug will push the cart like he had planned to do when he first got down here.
So let's ball them up.
Annalise shuffles to the back of the conga line, a little bit embarrassed.
And Doug will push them to the elevator to take you all up to the lab.
Yeah.
Annalise turns to Alyssa. So do you prefer Alyssa or Dr. Gonzalez?
Either one's fine. It doesn't really bother me too much.
Then Alyssa.
Perfect.
Excellent. I am assuming you have seen this lab before. Could you tell me exactly how glorious it is?
She smiles and she proceeds to tell of the glory of the Tremere laboratory because it is exquisite.
The lab takes up an entire floor that has had everything but the support beams knocked out in order to accommodate it. And there are massive, expensive equipment all over the place, much of which has been edited with Tremere magic and bearing various hermetic symbols.
Yes. Yeah, it's out of character. It's a doctor's wet dream.
Annalise bites her lower lip and then quickly realizes what she's doing and stops.
No. She's Alyssa nods. I have the same reaction. It's okay.
Please excuse me if I have to change my pants.
Roll self-control not to.
Okay. I'm doing it. Self-control and what?
Just roll self-control.
Just self-control.
Self-control.
Can you hold it or not?
Okay. Oh, good gracious. I sincerely apologize. Could I have someone do this for me? I have no idea how this works in Discord.
/R followed by how many dice you're rolling, D how many sides are on the dice.
Oh, it would be 5d10.
Put a space between the R and the number.
Guys, I'm so sorry. I'm being embarrassing right now. 29.
2 successes.
I barely managed to keep my pants on.
Well, I see that the two of you ladies have taken a liking to this place.
Alyssa nods and smiles.
Annalise shuffles to the back.
Aww.
Well, I am simply here to observe your research and keep notes. Please? Our facilities are all yours. I'd like to see how well you've all been practicing your thaumaturgy. The gurneys you can place with the beds.
So
Okay.
I am going to take one of the blood samples and roll thaumaturgy 1 to gather information.
Mm-hmm.
So Annalise takes the vial labeled with the number 1 and approaches the corresponding patient and employs her rudimentary mastery of the thaumaturgical art to try and gain what insight she can.
It is a willpower roll, difficulty 4.
Okay.
All right, at 2 successes, you're allowed to ask 2 questions.
What is their bloodline? Rather, I suppose, if they are kindred. Yeah, they are, obviously. What's their bloodline? There we go.
All right, first one, what is their bloodline? This one, you can tell, is Bruja.
And the potency of the vitae.
The potency of their vitae is significantly more concentrated than yours.
Well, that's troubling. Annalise turns toward Alyssa. So it would seem we have a Bruja here of considerably stronger generation than I.
She furrows her brow.
You
What
can
is
probably
your-
estimate about 2 steps below you.
So 7th?
Hmm?
No, it would be 8th.
Yeah, 8th.
Alyssa is the same generation as Annalise, so okay. She furrows her brow. Wow. Okay. She'll grab the next one, the number 2, and use her thaumaturgy to cipher that one. If they save the one with the horns for last, so the first 5 is just the other quote normal looking ones. And it's willpower F4, right?
Mhm.
My character's willpower 6.
Annalise can be seen writing down what information she has gathered.
Two successes.
All right, you can ask 2 questions.
Will be the same 2 questions. Which bloodline / clan and the potency of the blood.
This one, interestingly enough, you don't get a clan on it. For the potency of the blood, it is probably about 4 steps weaker than yours.
Cadus.
Oh. Her jaw drops a little bit. I believe this one is Caitiff, of very thin blood.
So he's the weak one.
Yes, and she'll write down what she learned as well.
Oh, I think I'll take number 3.
Okay.
I'm gonna concentrate, spend a blood point, and do my roll. Ooh, 3 successes.
All right, you get to ask 3 questions.
Well, the usual. What bloodline is this one?
This one is a Ventru.
A Ventru, perfect. And what is how potent he is, generation-wise?
Generation-wise, he is about one step above you. Less potent.
Okay. So that's the middle one part in terms of power. And my third question, what does he eat for breakfast? Because I know Ventru have specific taste.
This one, let's see. This one likes to eat humans who are drunk.
He's an alcoholic on top of this.
Well, I suppose if you're doomed to unlife, you'd at least find some way to pass the time.
He only feeds on the drunk people.
Is it at least good alcohol?
Well, I ran out of questions. I'll ask him next time.
So the fourth one you guys get to, you'll notice that the stake in its heart is tied around with a purple ribbon.
Does it mean he can push it out?
Can he push it out?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking the others.
The ribbon is around the stake, or it's like tied to hold the stake in?
It's around the stake. It looks kind of like a marker of some sort.
Trophy marker or something.
Annalise prods at it. Well, at least this one has taste in fashion. Does this mean anything? Do any of you know?
I think this is Opal's. She likes to make statements.
I would say it is best that we leave the ribbon alone then. Perhaps someone else would like to gather information. I could do it, but perhaps someone would like to employ the thaumaturgy.
Well, I think we all need to demonstrate the arts.
So we have one candidate left.
Yeah?
As well as a couple of subjects, I can certainly take a fair turn.
Please demonstrate.
So I'll start with the one with the blue ribbon. Or purple ribbon, excuse me.
Go ahead and make that willpower roll, Diff 4.
I think this one's name is Tinky Winky.
That would be a nice 5 successes.
All right, you get to ask 5 questions.
All right, well, first and foremost would be the heritage.
La Sombra.
I'm going to ask a pointed question here before I continue. This is out of character. Do I recognize this individual?
Nope,
Okay.
not at all.
Just needed to know if this was my drinking buddy. Next question would be the potency of the blood.
Potency about 2 generations below you.
As in lower than mine? Below?
Yes.
Okay. Not terribly aggressive. I tell how recently he's fed.
He has yet to have fed, except for on the one that sired him.
All right. Well, how much vitae does he have in him?
A very, very scant amount. Probably 3 vitae units worth.
All right. Well, I think I technically have a question remaining, but out of character, I can't think of what else might be determined from that.
I have a suggestion.
May I have one too?
I'm certainly open to suggestions.
Ask how recently they were embraced.
Well, that's, yeah. If they only fed on their sire, can you determine how recent that occurred?
A few days ago. About a day before everybody went to visit the graveyard.
So it's
He'd
a
like
newly
less milk.
born.
So, I would share that information with everyone in case they wish to document.
Well, so it's pretty fair new. What else could we ask? Maybe, oh, what discipline he has.
You used up all your questions
Yep.
on this one.
Okay, perfect.
But I would
So we
share.
have one left.
There would be one more plus the Samitsi, correct?
Yep.
And Elise looks at Alyssa. So I am perhaps a little eager to know some more about the one with the horns.
She smiles and nods. You can do that one then. I'll take the other one.
Annalise approaches and takes his vial of blood. And difficulty 4?
You're doing the Samisi?
Yes.
Okay.
Ah. -1 success.
Is that a full botch or just a fail? Looks like just a fail. You can't really glean anything from this one's blood.
Is it possible to try again?
If you get more blood.
All right. Doug, how many syringes do you have left?
How many were there to begin with out of character?
There
Baker's
were
left.
12.
There were 12. Okay, so there should be 6 left.
6 left.
Yeah, so
I have
there
2
should
of
be
them.
There should be 6 left.
So Annalise is going to grab a couple of syringes off the cart and take 2 more blood samples for safety's sake, but I'm going to assume at this point the turn is over.
From the Samitsi, correct?
Yes.
So there's number 5 that's left.
Who wants to claim number 5?
I got it. So, yeah, Alyssa will take the vial for number 5. Hopefully. No successes. Wow, Discord hates me.
You're also having a little bit of difficulty reading from this blood sample.
So she will take another syringe and she'll take another sample and she'll pass it off to somebody else to see if they'd like to try.
I will.
Okay, she'll
I
hand it over.
I have 2 more samples of his blood, by the way, out of character.
Fantastic.
There
There you go.
Five.
Get to ask all the questions. Go ahead.
Okay, let's start with easy one. What's the plan?
Are you doing number 5?
And I got 5 success, so we're gonna name him Chanel.
All right. Number 5 is of Tremere blood.
It's a traitor. Probably has the mark of the damned.
So Alyssa's eyes go wide and she immediately starts like really paying attention to this guy to see if she knows.
Actually, you'll notice he doesn't have the mark of the betrayer.
Oh, not yet. He's a Tremere.
She furrows her brow.
He may not have drank yet from the cup, so I'm gonna ask him his generation.
His generation is about a step weaker than yours.
Sweet. And when was he created?
What's that?
When was he created?
At the same time as the other one, probably about no more than a week ago.
How much blood does he have left?
Huh?
How much blood does he have left in his body?
1 point.
Well, he's close to that. And question number 5 for anybody has a suggestion.
Is it possible to discern his sire?
Or bloodline, like.
You want to know who his sire is?
Oh, is he related to the same blood as me? So I can take a look and compare.
You don't get a name directly. Although an image does sort of start to form in your head.
Like a family tree?
Something like that, although it doesn't show you very far back. You get an image of a man with brown hair kind of swept to the side. Relatively average build, moderately attractive. Brown eyes, brown hair, bit of a big nose.
Please tell me she's going to say this description out loud.
Yep. I see a bit of tumor reasoning.
So Alyssa pales a little bit. She has blush of health, so she can pale.
Me too.
Alyssa, you recognize your daddy, don't you?
Yeah, sure do. Absolutely.
So that's your sister or brother. I haven't checked yet underneath the sheets.
Yes. They were probably trying to replace me.
How do you feel about it?
Like they deserve the same chance I got.
That's a good point. So I'm gonna lift the little sheet to see if it's a guy or a girl.
Oh, this one's the girl.
Oh, congratulations, you got a sister. It's a
looks-
girl.
She looks an unsettling amount like Alyssa.
And I just renamed her Chanel.
So yeah, Alyssa will study her, and her jaw will drop, and she'll shake her head, and he really was trying to just replace me. She'll like comb her fingers through her hair and shake her head.
Annalise is going to once again approach the Zamisi.
Mm-hmm. You want to try again?
Yes. Annalise is starting to feel quite fatigued at this point.
Wait a second. I know your generation now. Thank you.
2 successes.
All right, you can ask 2 questions.
All right. So, I wonder, what precisely is his generation? It would seem that he is at least a little bit strong, since he obviously knows how to craft flesh.
He is a whopping 3 below you.
Like 3 weaker.
3 stronger.
Ah. I was gonna say, there's no way Kadeth is gonna... 7th generation. And out of character, what kinds of attributes are discernible through thaumaturgy?
Disciplines, the actual attributes, supernatural merits and flaws, a vague idea of their bloodline.
If he's a magic user, because in the ancient books, the Tzimisce used to perform magic. That's why we kind of stole their blood.
Num.
So if he knows magic, he might be a good asset.
There's also the possibility of asking what his flaws are to see if we could find any weaknesses that we could leverage.
Yeah, true, like I did with the Ventru, the drunken one.
So, since we do have more vials of his blood, I am, in case anyone else wants to give it a crack, I am going to try and discern what flaws are present, what weaknesses he has.
But is he the most powerful one? Because there's a 7th generation, I believe.
Yeah, there's a 7th and then 2 8ths.
Yeah.
14th and a 10th.
Yeah, we've got 8, 14, 12, 8, and then this guy's 7th. I couldn't pick up what the 3rd vampire was.
10.
10.
Yeah, the Tremere would be 10th. It's the same as Alyssa.
Oh, what about the Ventru?
The Ventru was 9,
Okay.
if my memory is right.
All right. So, yeah, the question I will ask about the Tzimisce is what his strongest flaws are, I suppose.
All right. Are you familiar with the term Methuselah's thirst?
No.
Can I make intelligence occult to know if I am?
Sure.
Kindred lore?
Yes, intelligence, kindred lore.
Kindred lore.
I believe I have a couple of points. Yeah, I have occult too. So.
Kindred lore.
Yeah, kindred 1. So is this a roll?
Yes, intelligence plus kindred lore.
Okay,
I got the success.
so
Standard diff.
I'd say 7.
intelligence
Oh, 7. I got 1 success then.
5 d10. 39. 3 success. Oh, excuse me. Looks like 5.
Nope, nothing.
All right. The two of you that succeeded, on 1 success, you know human blood provides no nourishment. On 5 successes, you know that there are 2 major causes of this affliction. 1, somebody really likes diablerie, or 2, somebody's really fucking old.
He may not be the strongest one in terms of generation, but he's definitely more ancient than the others.
Someone has strength.
Another question we have to answer to the head-on shows is their mental states. So we have no Malkavians, but maybe some of them are afflicted by mental illness. I don't know if the blood could reveal that.
They would have to be unstaked and assessed through these. And she pulls out a small handful of what look like relatively innocuous chains having vials of water in them. They change colors depending on the affliction.
Ah, that would be useful. Unless we have other questions about the blood of everyone, but I think we ran out of options. Maybe the Dimitri, we can ask if he holds magic, if he committed diablerie.
Perhaps.
And how long ago was he created? Some research in the books later on could tell us more about him, if he's
We
that
do-
ancient.
I do still have 1 vial of his blood left.
I
Do you have
can.
any syringes left? Or
Take
we
a
can
look.
get other ones. There's always in syringes to get blood.
I'll take the last vial of his blood and do my thing.
All right, go.
Great.
All right. You can ask 5 questions.
Well, first and foremost, because this might tell us quite a bit as well, is how much blood he has in his system.
After you've taken 3, he has about 5 points.
Okay. And are we able to tell when he was created?
This one was embraced about 70 years ago.
Okay.
Has he committed diablerie? That would
That
be
was
a good one.
that was going to be my next one. Can I tell if he's committed diablerie, and if so, how many times? I realize that might not be possible, but
That will count as 2 questions. He is a diablerist.
okay.
He has committed diablerie 3 times.
Okay.
Little bastard.
I have 1 question remaining.
What's his favorite color?
Um,
Do not ask that.
We could see if he has given his blood to others as well, to create or to make ghouls. Does he have any servitors or blood relatives below him? So we'll know if they are starting to look after him. And that will give a good idea to the prince how many are left.
That would be one possibility. Seeing if I could identify his capabilities would be another.
Yeah, we have a lot. But he still has blood, so we just need to find other ways to, if we need more
True.
questions anyway.
True. Can I identify what disciplines he possesses?
Sure. It will cost more questions, but his highest rated discipline is Dominate.
Okay. I
No.
believe that uses up my 5 questions.
I'm thinking of the leftovers of blood. In order to make them weak, once they are getting unstaked and interrogated, we should take all the remaining blood but 1 point. That blood could be useful for the clan to conduct rituals and whatever we need as well. Add it to the blood bank. Casting magic is expensive.
That's true, but I don't really relish the idea of inadvertently joining myself to them either.
Oh, no. We'll give it to the higher ups. I'm quite sure they're going to find a use of it.
Do not blood bind yourself to the test subjects. It's generally a bad idea.
That is why I was clarifying.
I'm not proposing we drink them. I'm just saying that we store the blood. First, when we unstake them, they won't be able to use much blood. They will be very weak. And second, the clan premier is making acquisition of rare blood. Should we need to investigate it further?
We must also consider, however, that they will be very hungry.
Well, that's more leverage. I'm going to hand them a bag of blood.
It is if they stop to talk before they go for it.
Well, you can feed them drops by drops.
I'm thinking more of making sure they're adequately restrained.
Oh, I'm quite sure the sheriff will handle that part. I'm starting to take the leftover blood, but with what could we take it?
Are there any nearby buckets?
Oh, I got Tupperwares.
Tupperware is perfect.
Perfect.
It's
So we'll start the extra blood. Well, there's 2 doctors. They know how to take blood from someone.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully.
We know how to drain blood too.
Dr. Gonzalez, how many IV bags do we have?
I'll check. I'm sure that there are several.
Because we could just do this like blood donation. It's relatively common.
Can the 2 blood doctors roll me an intelligence kindred lore?
Yes, will do.
Ding. I have 2 successes.
That looks like a fail.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
I failed
One
too.
cancels
Discord is
the other
not
one.
Discord is not being kind tonight.
Perhaps we are both a little rusty.
I can let the other 2 Tremere make the same roll. If you guys want.
Just out of character clarification. To test their mental facilities, we would have to unstake them now, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There goes nothing.
Oof.
Really bad.
Unwatch.
But
Storing their blood in Tupperware should be great. Tupperware is actually particularly good for storing kindred vitae. It's the reason it was invented.
Out of character, the last college I went to literally stored brains in Tupperware. That was my anatomy and physiology class.
I have pictures on my
sold
phone.
tons to medical facilities in the past. Trust me, Tupperwares are the best.
And this, Shelby, I have a logic question.
Telling you guys. Oh, go on. Sorry.
Would I recognize the logic of trying to store that, given my knowledge of the rite of vessel transference, which is literally
you have
for
vessel
preserving?
transference?
I do.
Alright, I won't make you roll. You know that kindred vitae can't be preserved without that ritual. It'll just separate into human blood and be
Okay.
used.
By the end of this chronicle, every single Tremere will sell Tupperwares. We'll make millions.
Every single Tremere and all of their ghouls.
Next concept, door-to-door Tupperware salesman.
Yes. And that's exactly my concept. I have millions of ladies selling for me. That's where my fortune is from.
That'd be a perfect
Like,
venture concept.
Every single one.
Presence and dominate.
But it's also pyramidal because everybody underneath you gives you a percentage of their sales. So it's like Tremere pyramid as well.
It's the
And it's a good way to have like suburban witches or ISIS in the suburbs.
So I can make sure that their blood is properly preserved. However, I will be extremely hungry after the fact. So I suggest we do that last, because I'm going to have to go out on an excursion when I'm done.
Oh,
probably
I just said.
point for Annalise to do the same, considering how many blood points she spent in thaumaturgy.
I came prepared. I just fed before coming.
I did too, but for us to preserve their blood, it will be a 1-to-1 cost for me.
I had a very good night.
That is quite steep.
So I suggest we decide how much of each and which ones are relevant.
Well, Seven and Samichi first. The other ones are newborn, and I think the Tremere we could maybe. I don't know what you think, guys, but I think that she has not been part of their sinful rituals. She doesn't have the mark, so by default, she's one of us. There's chances that her sire just gave her blood and never spoke to her, waiting for her to rise. She was created less than 3 days ago.
I think perhaps the Tremere and the Zemisi are of most relevance.
Hey,
Alyssa nods emphatically, like she's very interested in saving the Tremere.
you want to roll me your intelligence Sabbat lore?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do. Love to. Hopefully I get a success this time. That would be amazing. Please, Discord, give me a
It's
success.
difficulty 5 because it's something you experienced personally.
Thank you.
Oh, sacrifice Justin Bieber to the gods of dice.
Alright, I'm very sorry, everyone. I
Still,
head out.
still no
Alright.
successes. Wow.
So,
Discord hates me.
Annalise is just going to complain of feeling weak and go out to feed, I guess.
Okay. Bye.
See you, everyone.
See ya.
Can I try again at a higher difficulty?
Sure, you can try again at Diff 6.
Okay.
Fortunately, we cannot assist on that
I'm
roll.
gonna spend a willpower. on
Ooh.
5 successes.
Alright, you know exactly why this one doesn't have the betrayer's mark. It's because when Sabat are created a lot of the time, they're just left to wander back, and if they survive, then they're initiated. You know this because after your incredibly painful and traumatic embrace, you were unlucky enough to wander back successfully.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you were shovel-head.
So she'll tell that to the group. Like the reason that she doesn't have the mark, she'll say because the practice is to embrace and then leave them to find their way back. And if they find their way back, they get initiated. And if they don't, then they don't. She was fortunate enough to not find her way back, and she found her way to us.
So there is hope we could salvage her.
I won't have to go through what I did.
Well, I think we should meet with the... What's her name again? The harpy that manages the armory, and it's our Hogwarts teacher.
She is there watching. She's taking notes, judging you all.
Well, I think our that over here. Tremere is salvageable. Trixie's bad, and there is a powerful second generation that doesn't know it's that powerful. He's brand new. And the Trixie smells evil. Javelized 3 times.
I see.
Meaning potent blood that could be useful.
He still has some in his body, and he's good at dominate. He's the threat. And what was this generation again? So this would could forward the information to the interrogation team should be only of people that cannot be dominated by him.
Yes, it is part of our job here to ensure that the relevant information gets sent to interrogation team. Although what specifically they need to know is at House and Clan's discretion.
And what of this Lysombra? I've not encountered them before. Do they have any unique capabilities that might be useful?
It depends. Most all of them practice some shadow-related discipline. Others have some magical tricks, although if these are all shovelheads, then I doubt it does.
Oh, I wonder what is their clan weakness. Never seen one before.
Zelithombra? They don't appear in reflections.
I'm gonna take my pocket mirror and test the theory.
And it does indeed confirm that. He doesn't appear in the mirror at all.
Well, I'm just learning more stats towards my next Invidor dot. And I'm gonna order tons of mirrors for the hotel, so this way I will know if they need some Mitzi and Lysombra comes in.
So it's possible it has some sort of access to magical abilities and definitely some sort of shadow-related powers.
Evil.
She nods.
And is that something that the clan might be able to make use of?
Indeed, we will first have to wrest it from the one who claimed it, though. And she's gonna reach over and kind of tug on the bandana. It should not be a problem, though.
my point as well is that we are the ones who know their lineages. I will not speak with certainty, but I would consider it somewhat unlikely that there are others beyond our clan who are capable of determining these same traits in the city.
Oh, wait a second. The caitiff. Can I roll something to remember the fight in the cemetery? Because I remember that one had claws. And I called him Wolverine at the moment, but none of them are gangrels.
Sure, you can roll your kindred lore.
Or roll to remember which one it is.
At 6, I got 2 success.
Okay. It's not really related to it being a caitiff. You know that vampires in frenzy tend to grow very small claws. They're nowhere near as magnificent as a gangrel's protean claws. That was probably what you saw.
Okay. Sweet. Neophyte. So, we have gathered all this information. Anything else we need to do?
I'd say that each of you are dismissed. I expect your reports in the next few days, and we will determine what to provide the sheriff.
We were going to test their mental facilities, were we not? Or have we decided to forego that at this time?
Well, the only way would be to unstick them. That wouldn't be safe. Or if we could take a peek at their aura.
If anyone here has sufficient mastery of aspects.
I do not, but if we are as you said, unstaking is an option provided we have approval and take proper precautions.
We may wish to move some out as a nice lab for that.
There's a convenient shipping container downstairs, I believe.
She nods.
Alternatively, we do have a couple days before we are required to turn them over, correct?
Indeed, I believe interrogation team is not meeting for a bit.
So the possibility of forcibly binding one prior to that would be an option.
Indeed.
And what do you think about the example we wanted to make?
Well, it occurs to me that doing so discreetly means they can then be unstaked and relatively well directed, provided a firm hold is established.
I agree.
I would ask why not all of them? Though if we are picking favorites, we already know that Tremere will be bound to the pyramid once it awakes.
That does make sense. And as to why not all of them, it's potentially a matter of value. Is it worth the investment? Further, it may seem suspicious if they are all too similar in their responses, willingness to cooperate, etc. Now, if we were to say each select one or two and give them some instruction so that they are not too uniform, that might make it worth all of them. However, again, we fall back on, is it worth the investment? Because we are also going to have to battle for their usefulness if we want to retain them beyond this.
It would mean we would have a vested interest in ensuring that they are integrated into the city.
So then
Although
we have,
this one that was claimed may be an asset if we let it go to whoever claimed it.
that's true as well. An insider, as it were.
She nods. Always good to know about your allies as much as your enemies.
A valid point, and I am intrigued by the shadow abilities of that one. Although, you've heard this other one, this face sculptor, might have magical abilities as well.
Well, how about this? We will reconvene shortly. In the meantime, I would like to review everyone's reports on what they have found today, and I will hear everyone's proposal as to which of these fledglings they would like to lay claim to.
Alyssa will nod.
As you direct.
Excellent. Then I will see the rest of you shortly for checking their mental facilities, and by that time, I'm certain that the Regent will have made a decision regarding this blood bonding plan.
Thank you.
She nods. In that case, I would say that you are all dismissed. Good work, and you can read the report on you that I will give the Regent shortly. She smiles.
I'm back. Sorry, my internet disconnected.
It's all good. Everyone's basically being dismissed. They're expected to provide the pyramid with a report on the important stuff that they learned today, and a proposal for which of these fledglings they would like to blood bond personally.
Well, the sister first. She's my priority to save.
Yeah, Alyssa definitely wants her sister. So she will be
Number 5.
she will be writing a proposal for for her to take her sister in.
And is there anything else anyone would like to ask Miss Knight before she lets you all go?
Does she wish any of their blood to be preserved at this time? Because if so, I can enact the ritual. Or would she like to address that after the blood binding discussion?
She would like all of their blood preserved for the chantry, but she's not going to make you do it all now immediately. Like, you can do it over a few days and be able to feed during it.
So she wants the blood.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
I'm good at hunting, so if you want, we can head to nightclubs and I can bring blood.
Well, some blood to restock would certainly be useful.
And I like the hunt.
All right. Then, as the young members of the pyramid are dismissed to deal with the joy that is paperwork and bureaucracy and the actual joy that is hunting and feeding, I'd say this is where we can end our scene. Thank you, players, for playing, and thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been a scene for Living World of Darkness Vampire.